killing sounds. That's what we're going to be talking about in this video, so you stay tuned. You've been working hard, you finally got this turkey committed, he's come a long ways, you get him up there to about 70, 80 yards or under, and he hangs up, just outside of your effective gun range. Now you got to decide whether you're going to call or whether you're not. Now, many times the best call in that situation is not to say anything. Just let him come looking for you. And that's the first thing you need to try. Without a doubt, just going quiet and letting that turkey come find you is the best thing you can try right off the bat. But sometimes that don't work. Sometimes you have to call to convince that gobbler that there's a real hen up there and he's got to move just a little bit closer, maybe 20, 30, 40 yards, where you can effectively get a good killing shot. You got to convince him to come just them last few yards. Here's the killing sounds. These are calls that I do every day of the season. I mean, pretty much every day of my season, which is about a 2-month season, I do these sounds, and I have killed many, 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 many turkeys, and these are usually the sounds that I do right before I pull the trigger. And so the killing sounds is what I call shotgun calling. This is where you're down on that shotgun and you're looking down that shotgun, but you're having to call. Now, a lot of these sounds is best done on a mouth call because your hands are free, you're down on that gun, but if you can't use a mouth call, you know, you can still do these on a slate call or a small little call like my little sly call, the hybrid call this year. You can do these little sounds, but again, when he's up there that close, you got to remember, if you got to move your hands or you got to move any bit at all, you're taking a big chance on him seeing you. So it's best to do these on a mouth call if you can. Okay, and this is where you need to practice. So right now, y'all need to be out practicing these calls because many of your seasons are about to open, and these are the calls that's going to wind up finishing that gobbler off or getting that gobbler to commit to come on in and you be able to kill him. All right, the first one we're going to talk about is the cluck and the purr. This is the gold standard among turkey hunters that's turkey hunted any amount of time. There has been literally millions of turkeys shot with this call right here, and this call here has actually been downplayed a lot, and in the last few years a lot of people have started this myth that this is a warning call, that you never want to cluck and purr together. And there's been videos done on it, and there's been people in seminars that's told people don't cluck and purr together because that's a warning sign. Let me tell you something, that is not a warning sign. Absolutely not. And I think any turkey hunter that's turkey hunted any amount of years will tell you that that is the furthest thing from the truth. A cluck and a purr together is a contentment call. That is that hen that's out there that's just content. She's out there feeding, she's just out there walking, she's just out there being a turkey, and there's no danger and there's nothing around. So a cluck and a purr together is a lot of times that call that will convince that gobbler to come on in. And it's kind of done like this. Now when I do this call, especially if I'm on that shotgun or again, he's up there close, a lot of times I will do a whit cluck or a bubble cluck. It sort of sounds like this. Alright, and I'll throw a purr at the end of it. That right there is a deadly cluck. Especially when he's up there close and you got to get him in just a few more yards. That's that under your breath type calling. It's all coming from your diaphragm. It's not really coming out of your mouth. It's all coming from deep inside, which is what a turkey does. She's moving, and when she's calling from her diaphragm. So when you can learn that under your breath calling, it puts so much realism and it puts so much more effect into your turkey calling. So all you're doing is just saying whit. You know, that's why we call it a whit cluck. You just say whit and do it. You're really soft. And you throw a purr in behind that, man, I tell you what, that is a deadly combination. Now, I purr two different ways on a mouth call. I'll roll my lips or roll my tongue when I'm trying to get that volume out just a little bit more. All right, when I'm out there and I'm trying to get it past 70, 80, 90 yards, then I'll kind of roll my lips, because that's how I learned when I was, first started, and I've kind of got it down, a little short roll of the lips, or I'll roll my tongue. And it kind of sounds like this when I'm trying to get it out a little bit further. So you kind of get that volume out. Now once he's up there pretty close and I'm doing these whip clucks, a lot of times I'm just purring with the back of my throat. I'm just purring with my uvula, just kind of like you're gargling water. I'm kind of purring that way and throwing that whip cluck in behind it. So you can purr either which way, but however you purr, you got to get it soft. You got to get it down to where he's convinced that hen is really close, but she's just out there doing a contentment type call. That cluck and purr, honestly, absolutely is a deadly, deadly call. Don't let anybody ever tell you that's a warning call. Go out there and learn that cluck and purr, and that right there will kill you a lot of turkeys and finish him off and get him to commit to come on in them last few yards, or maybe move him to the right and to the left just to get him into where where you can shoot effectively. So practice that cluck and purr together, and boy, I tell you what, a lot of times that's all you need to get him to come into that zone where you can kill him. All right, the second one we're going to talk about is one that I've actually done a lot over the years, and I never really talked about it much until the last 2 or 3 years. I think I've did maybe a video on it about 3 or 4 years ago, but that is the feed call. Now, I do this a lot, especially when I have a turkey that's hung up and he's out there and he's just, maybe I can't see him, or maybe he's just in some brush, and but I hear him spitting and drumming. I will do this call a lot, and that is what I call the wheels, or I'll call the do-it-do-its, just these little feed calls that hen turkeys do, especially when they're out there just scratching around. And I will throw a lot of scratching in this. If the turkey can't see me and I know he's in a position where maybe he can't see my hand or nothing, and I can move my hand down to some leaves, then I will scratch a lot and do this call, and man, it's effective. I have killed a lot of turkeys over the years that's hung up just outside of range, and I've shotgun called them, or you'll get down on that gun and start doing these little feed calls, and along with scratching, and it just convinces them, and they come right on in. In fact, last year in Alabama, we had this turkey, and man, he was just absolutely hung up right in the edge of this little food plot, and he would not come out. I mean, he stayed right in the same little area for about 35-40 minutes, and I tried going quiet. I tried everything I could, and it took these little feed calls to get him broke. And I started feed calling to him, and I couldn't scratch on the leaves because there wasn't no leaves beside of me, but I started doing these little wheel and these little do-it-do-its, man. I started doing these little feed calls, and that's what broke him. He actually broke, come right in, and I shot him about 14 steps, I think, and this is the call that got that turkey committed to come about 60 yards out of that brush line into about 15 yards, and here's what did it. And here's what you need to practice. And all you're doing is you're just saying do it, or you're saying wheel. All right, I do it either way, and here's what it sounds like. That right there, when you do that and you're scratching in leaves, especially like if you got leaves beside of you, oh, man, I'll tell you, a lot of times that's all it takes to convince him that's a real hen up there. And I've seen turkeys just like that Alabama gobbler, and I've done that a lot over the years, and convinced them to come on in that last few yards and wind up taking them home with me, because I had that call in my bag of tricks, and I just ended up, that was what broke him. So I've done that a lot, and all it is, it's just mimicking a hen out there that's feeding. So if you're like around a field, or you're around a food plot, or you're around a place that you see a lot of scratching, man, that's a deadly, deadly call. And it's not really hard to do. The thing that a lot of people have trouble with when they try to do that call is they're doing it on the wrong mouth call. They're trying to use a big cutter call, they're trying to do a big V-split call, and trying to do that. The best call to use is to use just a straight double read, or a ghost cut if you can run one of them. If you could just run a call like that that's real easy to use, that's what you really need to learn on, and that's really still what I use a lot, especially when I'm trying to start doing that really soft soft stuff. I'll switch to a ghost cut or even just a straight double reed. I've killed a lot of turkeys with the straight double reed call, and still to this day kill turkeys with them. And so you want to have a wide range of mouth calls with you to do different things. And if you're comfortable enough to have 2 or 3 mouth calls in your mouth at the same time, sometimes I'll carry 2 in my mouth at the same time. That'll help you too, because you can switch back and forth. So that feed call is really a great little call to remember, and just practice it, do it, wheel, throw it in, just kind of mix it up. Be that hen out there that's feeding along, and man, a lot of times that's all it takes to get him convinced that's a real hen, and he'll come right on in and you'll take him home with you. I've done it many times. So try that. That's a killing sound. The last killing sound I want to talk about is really my favorite. It's the one that I have killed so many gobblers over the years with, and I actually did a video on this last year, and I've been doing this call for 25, 26 years. I've been doing this call, but last year was the first time I really ever broke it down and really talked about it, and it's still a very popular video and still getting thousands of hits a day, is the whine. The whine is an absolute deadly call, and it's one that I've already heard people say that watched that video last year and end up doing it and calling gobblers in. And I don't know how many messages, Facebook messages, emails I got with pictures of guys that said that whine absolutely turned this turkey inside out. Thank you so much for that video. And what is the whine? Well, the whine is a breeding call. That is a call that a hen turkey does, in my opinion, that's just ready to breed. But it's really soft, it's really low, and it's hard to hear because you have to really be almost on top of them to really hear it when she does it. But them gobblers hear it, because they got a lot better hearing than we do, and they hear it. And when they hear that whine, man, it just tears them inside out. I've seen turkeys break, from 70, 60 yards and absolutely come almost in my lap, shoot them at 10, 15 yards just by whining to them. And this is kind of how it goes. It's really easy to do, and I'm going to link the video that I did last year into this video so you can learn more about it. But this is all you're doing. You're just doing a little bit of a squeal, sort of. It's not really a straight squeal. It's just a little bitty call. Sounds like this. You kind of want to just go up and down, just like a heart monitor. You imagine a heart monitor hospital, just kind of up and down. You don't want to go straight like. You don't want to do that. You just kind of want to put feeling into it. I'm gonna tell you something. When you get that down, and that gobbler's out there 60, 70 yards, and you got to get him in the last few yards. I can't tell you how many turkeys over the years that's what they broke to. When you start whining to them, just under your breath, real soft, it just breaks them. Just absolutely. That's a killing sound and a half right there. And really my favorite and my go-to just about every season when I have a gobbler that's just hung up and I need to get him a little bit closer. And that's why a lot of times when you see me actually out hunting in the videos, you'll hear that sound, because it does something to them. If you put them 3 calls in your bag of tricks this year and remember them and get them down to where you can do them pretty good, you'll be surprised how many gobblers will come into you them last few yards, and you'll be able to make a good clean shot and take him home with you. I'll tell you what, it never fails though how many times that I've had to call to a gobbler out there, and especially when I do that whine and watch them absolutely turn inside out. And that's a great feeling, especially when they're out there and you don't have to shoot them 50 yards, you don't have to shoot them 45 yards. You just start doing these little calls and they'll come right in, and almost come 18, 20 yards from you or 15 yards from you, and then gobble right in your face. That will make your heart explode when they get that close to you, and you know that you worked him all the way in and was able to kill him really close range. So try them 3 calls this year, and you'll be surprised how many gobblers that you'll get to react when they're just outside of gun range. So tell you what, it'll work for you. Try them, and hopefully you'll be sending me a picture saying, hey, look what I did this morning when I did them calls you talked about. I'm waiting for them. I'm waiting for that picture, so you make sure to send me one. Hey, as always, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Just hit that subscribe button down in the corner. I'd really appreciate it. And also check out all of our sponsors below in the links below: Stoger Shotguns, Spring Fever Custom Calls, where you can get my little Sly Hybrid call and all the other signature calls out there. So I know that little slide's sold out a lot, but if you just keep looking back every day, eventually you're going to find them back in stock. It's just kind of hard to keep them right now, but that call right there, I tell you what, you don't want to be without that call this year. And if you haven't watched that video of the reveal we did about a month ago, make sure you watch that about the hybrid call. And make sure to check out Game Cuffs, Tidewe.com, where you can get boots and the blinds and rangefinders, all the things that you need to turkey hunt, you can get right there at Tidewe.com. Make sure to use the promo code Dale for even a better discount, so make sure to use that, and we'd really appreciate that. Also check out Kona scopes if you're looking for a good scope for your shotgun, red dots, or just a regular scope like I shoot. Kona has got you covered. All the sponsors below, just make sure to check them out, and make sure to also join us on Pateron, where you can give a small $5 a month tip to Dale Outdoors, just to help us out when our videos sort of get demonetized for the hunting content once season starts. And we just really appreciate all that you could help us over there as well. $5 a month is all we're asking. And so if this channel has been a blessing to you, and it's helped you a lot over the years, or maybe this is your first year watching, and if it's really helped you, go over there and give us a $5 a month donation. We'd really appreciate it. It all goes back into Dale Outdoors, so we can keep producing better content for you in the months and the years to come. So we appreciate everybody that watches, and make sure to watch the wine video that's connected to this video, and also watch the next video that's new, that's coming out very soon. And we'll see you in that next video.